3,000-mile Jeep Gladiator health report. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive JT. That's right, this is the Jeep Gladiator 3,000-mile health report. I'm out cruising around today. Actually, thought I got lost a little bit earlier, but after getting honked at by a dump truck, I found my way. So I'm out cruising around and just realized I'm about to turn 3,000 miles on my Jeep Gladiator, and I should do it while I'm out cruising around here. So I thought it's a good time to talk about the health of my truck. Particularly because I know a lot of people out there, at least we used to, change the oil at 3,000 miles. You know, when did it become this 5,000, 10,000, whenever, mileage reading to change the oil and stuff and service your truck? I don't know. But anyway, first of all, how is it doing? It's doing awesomely. No issues with it at all. And it's a welcome surprise or change from the last Gladiator I had. If you watch the channel, then you know I had a 2020, same year, same truck. The only difference between it and what I'm driving now was it had the tow package on it. This one doesn't. Otherwise, everything, options, everything was the same. On that truck, I had of course, the auto stop problem, the check engine light, and a black screen on the radio. That was kind of a bummer. Kind of soured the Gladiator for me just a little bit. Still love the truck because I love the truck. So I traded it for this one. There's a whole video about all that, so I'm not going to go into the details as to how that came about. But this one, again, it's a 2020, and I know it has really low mileage on it, right? Well, it wasn't driven much by the previous owner, who happens to be my mother. So it wasn't driven much. It's basically like brand new. I mean, a lot of people would argue it isn't even broken in yet. I don't typically agree with that. I think after about the first 500, 1,000 miles, something like that, the vehicle is broken in. I mean, unless you're just coasting and you never hit the gas pedal. So no issues with it. No check engine lights, no problems. Of course, mechanically on this truck, if you want to call it mechanically, the things that I've changed, I added the bigger screen radio. That shouldn't affect anything with the truck, but it is an electrical component. I did add it to the truck. Also, I put the Sprint booster on it, which I love, by the way. Anything to eliminate throttle lag, give you that instant power that you want when you hit the accelerator. That's what that device does. I love it. I know there's a lot of people out there that question whether it'll cause any problems and any issues, and I haven't had any. It works great. I keep it set at race 5. That seems to be the ideal setting for me, both in the Tacoma and the Gladiator. So, awesome device. I love it. You can check it out. There's a link down below, by the way, along with a $10 discount code if you're interested. So those are the only two real, what I would call mechanical things that I've done to the truck. Again, neither one should nor does harm the truck in any way, in my experience. Now, there are many other things I've done with this truck, of course. I changed the bumper in the front. I added the tow hooks in the back. I've got bigger tires on it, which, by the way, a lot of people have asked me if I have recalibrated the speedometer. And the answer to that question is no. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. I'm about at speed, and that's when I'm, really 45, 55, 65 miles an hour. I'm off by about 3 to 4 miles per hour. So I just pay attention when I'm driving. If the speed limit's 65, I'll travel 65 knowing that I'm going 69, and so on. So it's not worth the $200, $300, $400, whatever it is, to take it to the dealer and have it installed, or buy that. There's a bunch of little devices out there you can get that you can plug in and start messing with stuff in the system's programming I'm not really into that. I'm not into messing with the programming on the truck. That's why I've never considered, well, I shouldn't say never considered. I actually did consider doing a tune as opposed to the Sprint Booster, but I like that the Sprint Booster is just a plug and play and doesn't get into your system's brains and start scrambling things around, you know? So I can live with the speedometer thing, not a big deal. Of course, it does affect how the system calculates fuel economy. Now, if I take a look at that on my truck, let's just take a quick peek and see what it's calculating fuel economy to be, and that is 15.3 miles per gallon. Now, that's not accurate because, again, I have bigger tires. So to come up with an accurate number, a subscriber actually sent me all the mathematical stuff, but basically, and this is ballpark, enough that it makes me happy, is to multiply that number by 1.1. That'll give you roughly where it is. And I think, and I haven't done it, but I think that comes out to be somewhere in the 17, 18 mile per gallon range, something like that. You can calculate it yourself. I'll probably do it when I'm done with the video and put one of those little blurbs down below that is what it really is. So no issues. I'm very happy with it. Would I buy the Jeep Gladiator again? Absolutely. I think it is one of the best mid-sized trucks on the market. I think Jeep, Mopar, Stabilus, whatever you want to call them these days, hit a home run with this truck. I think they did a fantastic job in designing it, setting it up, and it hits every mark, I think. It could get a little better gas mileage. I mean, we all complain about that, even though we buy trucks. We know they don't get great gas mileage. There is one other thing I want to mention, by the way, that I just noticed as I'm feathering the gas pedal, enjoying my ride, and that is the cold air intake. I do, of course, have a cold air intake on here. You can probably hear it in the background. That's the other mechanical thing that I've done. No issues with that either. And let me say something about adding mechanical or electric. Let's just call them electrical mods. You have to be very precise in your installation. I mean, a lot of the systems on the truck are pretty precise anyway. So when you start messing with things, that's when you run into problems and you get check engine lights and issues like that. I know somebody had sent me something recently on the Sprint Booster that they put it in and then they went for a ride and they had some messages pop up on their screen. They took it out, it went away, and I responded to them, you know, you have to install it precisely. And what I'm talking about there, it explicitly says in the directions that you have to turn the truck off, move the key fob far away from the truck so it can't see it, recognize it, and then leave the door open for 15 minutes. I suggest 20, 25. And that's so the CAN bus system, the brains of your Jeep Gladiator, can shut down, and then the system won't throw any kind of weird codes or anything because you gave it time to sit down before installing the unit. Same thing is true with the cold air intake. You have to replace or move the MAF sensor, the mass airflow sensor. Well, when you do that, you want to make sure that you align it correctly. And by aligning it correctly means it has to be straight up and down exactly the way that it was in the OEM cold air intake. And that's so that the air can flow over it and the system can read what the air is doing, what it is. If you don't do that correctly, you're going to pop a code. You're going to get an error message. So I think a lot of times when people, oh, by the way, back to the Sprint Booster, the guy did reinstall it. He waited the amount of time, and he told me that he didn't wait long enough before. No issues since. It's running perfectly. The cold air intake, again, make sure that you put that in right, or you're going to cause yourself troubles. And I think a lot of times when people have troubles, it's user error. And it always cracks me up when people send me comments and complain that something didn't work, and then when you delve a little more into that and ask them, did you do whatever? And they say, no, I didn't. I was too impatient to wait. Well, then you're going to have trouble, right? If you don't follow the directions, that's on you. Anyway, I just wanted to get on since I'm about to hit, am I there yet? Pretty close. About to hit 3,000 miles on the Jeep Gladiator. Let you guys know how it's doing, give a health report on it. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. If you're in the market, at least give it a ride so that you know what's out there and available. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've got a Jeep Gladiator. How's it doing? Any issues? Any problems? Are you happy with it? Would you buy it again? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma, also trouble-free. And Rob Motive FST, all about my new 2021 Toyota Tundra. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.